All right. Hi, friends. Thank you for sharing some of your time. I hope that this practice serves you well. Today's class focus is going to be all about exploring our mat in different ways, front to back, side to side, and I find practices like that really help us to get out of our mind and to really tap into our bodies. I invite you to have this intention of adding a fun playfulness to your practice as well as a bit of a challenge. So there will be some balancing components doing half moon and warrior 3. So if you like to use props for that, I would recommend some yoga blocks. If you don't have blocks, you could always use some pots and pans or some thicker books. All right, let's get started. So I invite you to find any comfortable position that you would like to start in. That might mean that you lay on your belly, it might mean that you lay on your back, or a child's pose, or hugging your knees into your chest. Whatever is going to allow you to start to settle into the body. And you might take a few movements, some wiggles before you settle towards stillness. And feeling your body in whatever shape that you've chosen. And closing the eyes or softening the gaze and really starting to attune to your being, however it's present in this moment. In your field of awareness, just scanning down the body, noting how the head, the shoulders, the spine, the hips, and the arms and the legs feel. Perhaps tuning in energetically how you feel. Perhaps a bit scattered, perhaps a bit focused, energetic, or perhaps a bit more sleepy. So no right or wrong, just an observation. And let that field of awareness start to shift into the breath as you start to breathe a bit more deeply. Relaxing through the jaw, breathing in and out through the nose. Feeling that breath starting to fill space within the body. Just establishing a rhythm that feels sustainable for your practice. Finding a bit of a harmony between the inhale and the exhale. A bit more symmetry here. And wherever you have chosen to start your practice today, slowly start to make your way to hands and knees. So if you were in a tabletop position, just pressing up to that table position. If you were in a prone or a supine position, just taking a moment to make your way up to hands and knees. Supporting the body in any way is needed. If the knees are sensitive, rolling up your mat or placing a blanket or a towel underneath it. And then take the next 10 breaths to flow with your breath and into the body. Movement can be spontaneous. Perhaps it's a bit more focused and directed within some cat-cows. Perhaps some sacrum circles in the air, wiggling into the shoulders and the head and the neck. And using these 10 breaths as just an exploration on this knowledge of how the body is in this moment. Making your way to a neutral spine, pressing the palms down, actively drawing them away from one another. Feel a bracing action within the shoulders. Slowly start to curl your toes under. Make your way to your first downward facing dog. And as you start to straighten into the knees, just being observant of sensation along the back of the legs, up into the hips and down the spine. And perhaps walking your dog, shifting your weight from side to side, and settling in for a few breaths here. And then on your next inhale, roll forward to your high plank position. Knowing that in any plank pose, you can always have the knees down so that they're back behind the hips and you're a diagonal line from the knees to the crown of the head. So I've been experimenting in my lowering to the belly by sometimes having my weight shifted back a bit more. Sometimes with my shoulders right over my wrists, and sometimes really high up on my tiptoes. So we're going to explore that here. Shift your weight back slightly so that your shoulders might be a bit behind the wrists here. And then as you exhale, slowly lower to your chaturanga, and then press back up to your high plank as you inhale. And then shift your weight so that wrists are right under the shoulders, and exhale to lower chaturanga. So bending into the elbows only so much as you feel stable here. And then last time, exhale, shoulders slightly over the wrists, past them, rising back up. Nice, release the knees, sink your hips to heels, reconnect to that breath, swirl through the wrists a few times, or just take a reverse prayer to the back of the neck. So using that knowledge in your wheelhouse to make clear and sound decision for yourself in your chaturanga, or that low push-up position. As you inhale next, rise back up to your hands and knees. And then as you exhale, we're going to send our left foot to the back of the mat. So just take a moment to pulse a little bit forward and back here. And if the wrists are a little bit tender at all, you could always explore turning your fingertips towards the long edge of the mat, or coming onto the knuckles and making a fist with the hands. All right, find stillness here, and then as you exhale, slide the left leg over towards the right, pressing out through those left ribs a bit, drawing the right shoulder and the right ear towards one another, and perhaps even gazing towards that left foot. And then on your next inhale, slide that left leg back behind you. And as you exhale, we'll set up for our knee down side plank. So spin to the inner arch of the left foot. You might kickstand the right shin or keep it as is. And then as you inhale, start to reach your left arm up towards the sky. Spread through the fingers, make a fist, wiggle into the wrist. Perhaps even draw some circles in the air with that left arm. And then try hovering the left leg up off of the mat. You might stay here. Others might choose to bend into that left knee and hold on to the ankle here. And coming into a bound knee down half moon pose. And try pushing the hips forward, back a bit, and feeling that stretch across the shoulder. Nice. As you inhale, release that if you have a bind. And we'll exhale to slowly start to release the left hand to the floor. Spin to the ball of that left foot. And then inhale to brace into the shoulders. Push the floor away. As you exhale, start to hover your right knee and foot up off of the floor. Try to draw it in towards the chest, rounding through the spine in this hovering knee plank. And then as you inhale, sweep your right leg up and back, three-legged dog. One time as you exhale again, hovering knee plank. Draw the knee into the nose. Inhale, sweep the right leg up and back, and step it through to your runner's lunge as you exhale. And so this might be a point where you bring your hands to blocks. You might shorten your stride or lengthen it for a moment, and then really set up with this foundation here, feeling yourself buoyant within the legs. And then on your next inhale, slowly lower the hips, just slightly lift through the heart. And then as you exhale, shift your hips back and straighten into that right leg any amount. Inhale back out to your runner's lunge. And then again, straighten into that right leg, just starting to warm up the muscles of the legs a bit more. And know that you could also do this with that left knee on the floor, just pulsing forward and back with the movement of your breath. Taking one more round here. And inhaling out to your runner's lunge. It's okay if that back knee is down. As you exhale, start to twist to the right hand to thigh, or reaching it up towards the sky. And if you have that left knee down on the floor, take a moment to start to curl those left toes under and lift your left knee up off of the floor. Nice, slow and steady. We're going to rise up to our warrior two. So turn and ground that left foot. Inhale, spiral open. Settle in here as you exhale. You might adjust your feet. You might turn your right toe slightly out or in, any way that's going to feel really stable for your legs here. And then moving with the breath, as you inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead, straighten into the right leg, pivot on that right heel, face the long edge of the mat. And then as you exhale, warrior two, facing the back of your mat. So bending now into the left knee, those toes point towards the short edge of the mat now. And as you exhale, runner's lunge, facing the back of your mat, spin to the ball of the right foot. Inhale steps you back to your high plank position, and lower in that variation of chaturanga that worked for you, whether shoulders were slightly back, stacked, or forward, very gradually lower. Inhale to your back bend of choice, so low cobra or high cobra, up dog. And then exhale, lift hips up and back to your downward facing dog. Taking a few rounds of breath here. And at any point in our practice, if I cue a vinyasa, you're more than welcome to just shift to your downward dog or come to rest in child's pose. Adapting this practice for you, making these wise decisions. And then as you inhale, bend your knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or step your feet to meet your hands. Halfway lift on your in-breath. And fold on the out-breath. Inhale, rise to stand, reach arms overhead. And exhale, prayer palms come to heart center. Pausing here for a full round of breath. On your inhale, sweep your arms wide and overhead. Left hand grabs a hold of the right wrist and slowly start to side bend over to the left. And if this doesn't feel comfortable for the shoulders, you can release this grip or bring your left hand down towards your waist. And staying active through the legs and through the core. And on your inhale, rise back up through center. Switch the grip of the hands. Side bend over to the right this time. One side may feel different than the other. Just observing asymmetries felt within the skeletal structure, within the tension patterns of the body. And then on your next inhale, rise up out of that side bend. Bend the elbows, cactus arms, perhaps a slight back bend here. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead, and slowly forward fold as you exhale. Halfway lift on your in-breath, lengthen the spine, find neutrality. And then as you exhale, downward facing dog, bending the knees, planting the palms, stepping back. Option here is you inhale to roll forward to your high plank and move through that vinyasa. Or you might just release your knees to the floor and take a few resting breaths in your child's pose. Tabletop on your inhale. So from your down dog, releasing the knees. If you were in child's, rising up. And then this time as you exhale, our right foot is going to step back. You're just pausing for a moment, pulsing a bit forward and back if that feels okay for the wrists and for that right leg. Find stillness, and as you exhale, slide that right leg over to the left, crossing at the thighs, staying on the ball of that right foot, and then start to draw the left shoulder and the left hip towards one another. As you inhale next, slide the right leg back behind you. Set up for that knee down side plank. Spin to the inner arch of the right foot as you exhale, inhaling, reaching the right arm up towards the sky. Wiggle into the fingers, circle through the wrist a few times. And if it feels okay for your shoulder, just drawing some circles in the air. Might start to explore lifting the right leg up into the sky, reaching out through the heel and staying here, or perhaps taking that bind, bending into the right knee, reaching back with that right hand. If you have that bind with the right leg, slowly release it as you inhale. And then as you exhale, right hand comes to the floor, spin to the ball of the left foot. Pause here as you inhale. Get firm into those shoulders, into the core. Draw the left knee in towards the nose, hovering knee plank as you exhale. Inhale, sweeps that left leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, left leg sweeps up and back, and step it through runner's lunge. Taking all the time you need to get there, perhaps releasing the right knee towards the floor, or bringing blocks to frame that left foot. And then flowing with the breath, inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, shift the hips back, straighten into that left leg. Flowing with the breath here, inhale, bends the knee, gazing forward. Exhale, straighten into the leg, perhaps rounding over that leg. Two more times at the pace of your breath. Inhale out, runner's lunge, set up for your twist, right hand to the floor, twisting left as you exhale. If that right knee is on the ground, tucking those right toes, lifting the knee in space. A few more breaths here. And then moving nice and slow as you inhale next, spiral open into your warrior two. Settle in here. You might straighten into that left leg a few times. reach arms overhead, straighten into the left leg, turn toes to the long edge of the mat. And then warrior two towards the top of your mat now. Runner's lunge on your exhale, cartwheel the hands down, spin to the ball of the left foot. Inhale, steps you back, high plank position. Lower chaturanga as you exhale, down dog or child's pose. Flowing with the breath, moving with that intention. Moving wisely with the body. Challenging where it feels appropriate. And then on your next inhale, bend knees, gaze forward to prepare. As you exhale, walk or step the feet to meet the hands. Halfway lift on your inhale and fold on your exhale. Inhale, rise to stand, reach arms overhead. Exhale, pair palms, come to heart center. And take a full round of breath here, standing in your strength. And then inhale, sweeps the arms wide and overhead, and slowly forward fold as you exhale. Halfway lift on that in-breath, and down dog on your out-breath. Inhale, lower the knees to the floor, tabletop position. And then as you exhale, sweep your left leg back, the right arm forward in your balancing table, adjusting the grounded foot and hand as needed to find balance here. And know that you can also release the left toes or your right hand back towards the floor. Staying here for the next 3 rounds of breath, or as you exhale, right elbow and left knee tap under the body, and inhale to extend. Twice more movement or stillness. And this time as you exhale, sweep the right arm back behind you, bend into the left knee, try to reach back for that left foot with your right hand. Balancing table as you inhale, extend right arm and left leg, and exhale, right hand to the floor, come to the ball of the left foot. Pause here as you inhale, firm through the core and the shoulders. And then as you exhale, hovering knee plank. Inhale, sweeps the right leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, step it through, runner's lunge. Rising up to your high lunge as you inhale. And pausing here as you exhale. Buoyant, taking up more space for more stability. Right hand grabs a hold of left wrist. And as you exhale, start to side bend to the right. Inhale, rise up through center. Warrior two as you exhale, pivot on the back foot. Reverse your warrior as you inhale, staying strong through the lower half of the body. Reach that right arm skyward. Notice if you've lost any depth within the hip crease. And then on your next exhale, bring that top arm down and around to release to the right thigh. Sweeping your left arm up towards the sky or alongside the head in your extended side angle. Inhale back up to your warrior two. And hands to waist as you exhale, straighten into the right leg. Turn those toes to face the left. Inhale here, broad across the sternum. And slowly forward fold as you exhale. Bending the knees if needed to release fingertips to the floor, perhaps a few sways from side to side. And this first time in our fold, take any variation here, exploring, perhaps walking the hands out into a wide-legged down dog. You might walk your fingertips back behind you and try to reach them between the legs towards the opposite end of your long edge of your mat. And perhaps hands just stay underneath the shoulders here. Nice. As you inhale next, find a halfway lift. And exhale to pivot to the back of your mat, finding your runner's lunge here. Inhale steps you back, high plank position. Optional vinyasa, down dog, or child's pose. Holding here for 3 rounds of breath. Inhaling to release the knees to the floor in child's pose as you exhale. And pausing for a full deep inhale and a long slow exhale. And rising back up to hands and knees as you inhale. And we'll take our balancing table to the other side. Right leg sweeps back, left arm sweeps forward. And pause here to get your bearings. Actively reaching in opposite directions, firming up through that left outer hip for additional stability. And holding here or releasing to the ball of the foot or the left hand down, or taking those elbow knee taps as you exhale. Inhaling to extend, and exhale to draw it in. This time, as the arm and the foot reach away on your inhale, exhale, sweep that left hand back, bend into the right knee, hold onto the foot or the ankle. Finding your bind here in space. And know that you could also pause the video and grab a strap or a shirt to close the gap of this bind here. And then on your next inhale, releasing. And exhale, lowering the left hand, come to the ball of the right foot. Pausing here for an inhale. Hovering knee plank as you exhale. Sweeping left leg up and back, 3-legged dog as you inhale. And step it through, runner's lunge as you exhale. Root through the feet, inhale, rise up, your high lunge. And then pause here as you exhale. Left hand grabs a hold of the right wrist. Slowly side bend as you exhale. On your inhale, rise up through center. Warrior 2 as you exhale. Reverse warrior as you inhale. Reach that left arm up towards the sky. Right hand just grazes gently onto the right thigh. And top arm comes down and around as you exhale. Left forearm comes to thigh. Sweeping right arm up alongside the head or up towards the ceiling. Feeling that right shoulder draw back in space. The left ribs coming forward. Wonderful. And then as you inhale, max, rising back up. Exhale, hands to waist. Turn those left toes to face the right. Inhale, interlace the hands at the low back. Draw those knuckles towards the floor. And slowly forward fold as you exhale with the hands in this manner. And on your next exhale, release the hands down towards the floor. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, runner's lunge to the top of your mat. Inhale, steps you back, high plank position. Optional vinyasa as you exhale. Again, down dog or child's pose. Holding here for 3 rounds of breath. Inhaling, bend knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or step the feet to meet the hands. Halfway lift as you inhale. And fold as you exhale. Inhale, rise to stand, reach arms overhead. Exhale, prayer palms, come to heart center. Finding that steadiness as you inhale here. And connecting to your strength as you exhale. So we'll play with a little bit of balance here. As you inhale, shift your weight into your right foot and just start to lift your left knee out in front of you. And if you're feeling really unstable here, you could always stay on the ball of that left foot, but continue to explore that steadiness within your breath, finding a steady focal point, that drishti. I'm feeling that right ankle starting to sway from side to side to find your stability here. Slowly on your next exhale, start to explore moving towards your warrior 3, taking any arm variation that you would like. A few more breaths here. And if you fall out of it, you fall out of it. Finding that playfulness and hopping right back in if it occurs. And slow and steady as you inhale next, step back to that high lunge. Warrior 2 as you exhale. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Top arm comes down and around. Extended side angle as you sweep that left arm up. Inhale, 5-pointed star this time. Toes point out, reach through the fingertips. And then as you exhale, sink into your goddess pose. So adjust the feet here if needed. You might find a wider stance, a shorter stance. Play with the angle of the feet here as well. Lifting through the sternum, drawing those shoulder blades towards one another on the back. All right, on your next inhale, arms to a T shape, and adjust the feet so that you're in triangle facing the back of the mat. So left toes point to the short end. And then as you exhale, reach forward and then release that left hand down, right arm up towards the sky. Gazing wherever feels best for the head and the neck here as you reach out through the side waist. Nice, and then slowly runner's lunge as you exhale. Spin to the ball of the right foot. Inhale, steps you back, high plank position. Optional vinyasa here. Three breaths in your down dog or child's pose. And from our down dog, bend knees, gaze forward as you inhale. Exhale, walk or step feet to hands. Halfway lift on your inhale. And fold as you exhale. Inhale, rise to stand, reach arms overhead. Exhale, pair palms, come to heart center. A slow breath here to pause. And then as you inhale, shift your weight into your left foot. Lift your right knee out in front of you. One side might feel a little more stable than the other. So just use this as an observation. Perhaps this means slowing down for a moment, reconnecting with your breath, and that intention to have a playfulness within our practice. Nice. As you exhale next, slowly make your way to your warrior 3. Extending that right leg back behind you, chest bows down. Reaching out through the heel, reaching forward. forward with the crown of the head. A few breaths here. And then slow and steady as you inhale, step back to your high lunge. Warrior two as you exhale. Inhale, reverse. Top arm down and around. Exhale, extended side angle. Straighten into the arms and the legs, 5-pointed star. And exhale, goddess pose. Settling in here for a few rounds of breath. Adjust your stance, perhaps challenge yourself by lifting one or both of the heels. Nice, and then as you inhale, feet rooted, straighten into the legs and the arms, and set up for your triangle pose facing the front of your mat. Exhale, right arm dangles down, left arm reaches skyward. Exhale, runner's lunge. Hands to the floor, bend back into the right knee. Inhale, steps you back, high plank position. Vinyasa, exhale. Three rounds of breath here. You might release to your knees, move through some cat-cows. And then from our down dog, inhale, bend knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or step feet to the hands. Halfway lift as you inhale, and fold as you exhale. Inhale, rise to stand, reach arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart, pausing for one round of breath here. So we'll add on to our balance this time. Again, rooting into the right foot. Inhale, lift your left knee out in front, creating a basket with the hands holding onto that knee. Active through the right leg, reaching skyward. And keeping a hold of that left knee with your right hand, as you exhale, slowly start to twist to your left. Left hand can stay on the waist or start to reach back behind you. The gaze might even follow as well. Wonderful. As you inhale, max will slowly start to unwind. And then as you exhale, either dancer's pose or warrior three. So grabbing a hold of that left ankle with your left hand, pushing foot into hand, reaching your right arm forward. But know that you can also take your warrior three here. All right, slow and steady, we're going to transition to our half moon. So right fingertips are going to start to release down towards the floor, a fair distance away from that right foot. This might be a good place to have a block here. You might challenge your balance by keeping this bind with that left foot. And if you still have that bind, slowly start to release it as you inhale. Pause here as you exhale. And then inhale, gently step back, warrior two. This time, extended side angle as you exhale. Sweep that top arm down and around. Inhale to your reverse warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Turn the toes out, reach through the arms. Exhale, goddess pose. Flow with the breath. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Triangle facing the back of your mat. All right, slow and steady from here. We're going to make our way to a revolved triangle. So as you exhale, gaze to the floor. Start to release your right fingertips down towards the ground. If you need to bend into the left knee, that's okay too. Perhaps your hand comes to a block instead. You might need to adjust the angle of that right foot, drawing your left hip back a bit in space. You could also rise to the ball of that right foot as well. And the torso turns to face that left leg, starting to sweep your left arm skyward, but it can also come to the sacrum as well. Nice, runner's lunge. As you inhale, rebend into the left knee, and exhale steps you back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, release your knees to the floor, sink hips to heels, child's pose. 3 resting breaths here. Reconnecting to your breath, reconnecting to your being. Inhaling, rise up, tabletop position, and downward facing dog as you exhale. Inhale, bend knees, gaze forward, and exhale, lock or step the feet to the hands. Halfway lift as you inhale, and fold as you exhale. Inhale, rise to stand, reach arms overhead, hands to the heart as you exhale, pausing for a full round of breath. Shifting weight into the left foot, preparing for this balance. Inhale, lifts your right knee out in front, creating that basket with the hands. Again, if there is some instability here, hands can just be on the waist and you can stay on the ball of the foot. Notice if you're collapsing into the left hip side, firm up through that hip. Stand with strength and integrity here. Back off if needed. Nice. Keep holding on to that right knee with the left hand, and then as you exhale, twist slowly to the right. Right hand to waist or reach it back behind you. And then on your next inhale, slowly start to unwind. Dancers or warrior 3 as you exhale. From here, slowly transitioning to your half moon. Releasing left fingertips towards block, prop, floor, whatever works for you in this moment. Nice, and so if you still have that bind from the right leg from your dancer, inhale to release it into your half moon. Pause here as you exhale. And then on your inhale, slowly step and float it back to your warrior 2. Exhale, extended side angle. Top arm comes down and around. Inhale to reverse it. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, arms to T, straighten into the legs. Set up for your triangle pose over that right leg. Nice, so slow, gradual progression into a revolved triangle here. So as you exhale, slowly release your left fingertips towards the earth. Shifting the hips as needed. Slowly turn the torso to the right, right arm to sacrum or up towards the sky. Nice, inhale, unwind, runner's lunge. Then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, release your knees to the floor. Child's pose as you exhale. From here, we'll start to slow down within our practice, moving through seated postures. So making your way up to a seated position and then towards your Dandasana. So sending your legs out in front of you. Grounding the thighs into the floor, lifting up through the crown of the head. And then on your next exhale, hug your right knee in towards your chest. We'll come into a twist here. So a couple options. Right foot can stay to the inside of the left foot. You might cross your right leg over that left leg instead. And we'll hug this knee in towards the chest with that left arm. Tenting the right fingertips back behind you and twisting on your exhale. Inhale to unwind, and then as you exhale, a couple variations to fold over this extended left leg. You might come into a half Gomukhasana leg here. You could also take a half lotus, or just bring the sole of that right foot to the inner left thigh. We don't want to compromise or create any discomfort within this right knee. Find some length as you inhale within the spine. Feel the navel draw to spine, and then exhale slowly forward fold. On your next inhale, lift up out of your fold, and then as you exhale, uncross that right foot. Plant that foot down towards the floor. Bringing your left hand back behind you, spin to the outer edge of the left foot. And as you inhale, wild thing, press up, lift the hips skyward, reaching that right arm up and back behind you. Beautiful, and then as you exhale, slowly start to release the hips to the floor. Inhale to your boat pose, Navasana. The feet might hover here, they might come to the floor. You could also hold on to the backs of the thighs. Perhaps you play with hovering the feet and paralleling the shins. Baddha Konasana as you inhale. Release to the outer edges of the feet, knees open wide. Lift through the heart and stay here if this is enough sensation. Some might start to explore, slowly bowing forward. Finding that just right edge of sensation to pause and to connect to the energetic body within this shape. And then on your next inhale, slowly rise up. And exhale to slide the legs out to your Dandasana. Pausing here for a full deep inhale. And hugging your left knee into your chest as you exhale. And then finding whatever leg variation works for you to set up for your twist. Hugging that left knee into the body, left fingertips back behind you, twisting on your exhale. Slowly unwinding as you inhale, and whatever leg variation that you prefer as you start to explore, folding down to that extended right leg. Inhale, rises up. Exhale, place the sole of that left foot on the floor. Spin to the outer edge of the right foot. Push into the right hand that's back behind you. And inhale to press up into your wild thing. You might even start to come to the ball of that left foot as well. Nice. And then as you exhale, slowly start to release. On your inhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. From here, we'll slowly start to release down onto our backs. Hugging the knees into the chest, a few sways from side to side. And then with the knees bent, release the soles of the feet to the floor. Inhale to pick up the right foot, take a figure four, crossing the outer edge of your ankle onto the left thigh. I'm just finding a suitable stretch for this outer right hip, whether you stay as is or start to explore hugging the left knee in towards the chest. If that left foot is lifted, as you inhale, slowly return it back to the floor. Keep this figure four shape, and as you exhale, just release that shape over to your left-hand side. If the left thigh doesn't reach the floor comfortably, or there's any discomfort too much through the outer hip, you could pick up your right foot and just place it on the inner line of your left thigh. You could also bridge the gap with those props that you have on hand. I like to hold on to my right foot with my left hand. And perhaps you start to close your eyes within your practice. And then as you inhale, max, lift the shape back up through center. And switch the cross of the ankles. The left ankle comes to the right thigh. And perhaps a few sways from side to side just to determine how this side feels. I'm just finding a suitable release for this side. And then on your inhale, if that right foot is lifted, releasing it back down. Exhale, figure four twist, releasing this shape over towards the right side. A few more deep breaths here. And then as you inhale, max, lift this shape back up through center, uncross the left ankle, and just hug the knees into the chest. You might feel nice to sway a little bit from side to side. Closing out with either a happy baby or just staying here with the knees hugged into the chest. And then slowly, gradually start to release the body down to the support of the floor in your Shavasana. Taking up space. Returning to a natural rhythm of breath. And feel the body settle and soften to the support of the floor beneath you. And feel from the heels, the back of the hip, here. Observe the muscles slowly softening from those spaces down the length of the arms and the legs. Feeling the eyes begin to relax, the muscles of the face. And pausing to soak in the benefits of our practice. And wherever the mind has drifted off to, begin to bring the awareness and focus it upon your being resting here. Start to deepen the breath. Feeling your spaciousness, your restfulness here. And softly swaying the head from side to side. Begin to softly move into the fingers and the toes. And just as the breath swirls through the body, continue this gentle rhythmic swirl into the wrists and the ankles. Eventually gathering knees into the chest. Easing your way over to one side and taking a moment to pause. A gradual transition from practice before continuing on with the rest of our day. And then with eyes closed or a soft gaze, press up to a seated position. Resting hands in front of the heart in a prayer position. Thank you so much for practicing with me and for taking some time for yourself. I so appreciate you. Namaste. Thanks, friends. Bye.